One of the most important goals of this step is to develop a balanced life. This course challenges your character and your priorities at every step. And if you don't develop a balanced lifestyle from the onset, you'll find it's a bit like trying to build a castle on sand. We have to keep readjusting the foundations as we continue. A balanced lifestyle would consist of having clear priorities, a good social network, a group of people around you, and a harmonious interaction with the world. Good recovery and emotional balance, and your material affairs completely in order. Now, because of the nature of the human condition, you may find there are aspects of your personality that challenge you during this process. And if that happens, that's part of your hermetic progress. These very aspects of your elements that come to face you are the ones that we need to bring into balance and harmony for latter exercises. Some important things to look for are redirection of goals. So, for example, you might find that instead of practicing hermetics, you release that intent by talking about hermetics or watching videos, that kind of thing. Sometimes I meet people who research, and they read and they read and they read, but they don't practice, and this is another form of displacement activity. So make sure that you know that hermetics is your number one goal, and the practice of hermetics is the number one goal in that hierarchy. This is the correct order of things because the practice of hermetics allows us to achieve great things on all other levels. So by making it a priority, it's like a sun lamp on everything else we do. The next area of life you might want to look at is your social life, and the goal is to live in harmony. So as far as possible, we want to get people around us and cultivate friendships which are positive and which support our goals. For the people who are contrary to our goals, we can also use them as training aids, so we can learn from their errors, and we can imagine them as training partners who we have instructed to try to prevent us from remaining balanced or from practicing. If there are any ongoing dramatic areas of your life where things aren't solved, it's time to solve them now and to find a way to have a harmonious existence. Recovery is a very important thing, and to do this, time management is the key. So making sure that you have regular sleeping times and that you recover enough is a priority. And the ability to rest and recover is something that will really pay back investment later on in this path. There are direct correlations between your mental abilities and whether you are sleeping regularly and correctly. Other areas of lifestyle which we all know are important include emotional stimulation, going to beautiful places, doing things you enjoy, making sure that you eat the right things and that you exercise. There's a whole video on my YouTube channel about recovery that you might be interested in watching if this is an area you need to develop. As far as material things, it's important to set your life up so that you can pay for things in the material world, so that everything's in order, and so that your outside interaction with the world reflects what you want to achieve inside, so that your surroundings are beautiful and harmonious and tidy, and so that these things don't interfere with you constantly. Now, one area to look out for, and this is a really interesting aspect of these elements, is that sometimes one of these areas we want to bring into balance will promote themselves to the absolute priority. So we'll decide that we want to become incredibly famous, or we want to become incredibly popular, or we might decide that we want to be extremely fit, and that fitness is the most important thing, or we might decide that we want to be incredibly rich. Well, these are all lovely goals, but we want to achieve them all through a balanced, harmonious, hermetic practice, and not to obsess about one in particular. So let's start off with a life assessment. Let's look at each one of these areas and get a harmonious, basic level of running in place first. From the Hermetic point of view, it's important to have everything in balance. So if our practice isn't regular, if we're not managing to practice every day, if our interaction with other people and the outside world isn't harmonious, if we find we're not recovering and our emotions aren't in balance, or we find that we are struggling for money, or our material affairs are chaotic, we need to get those in harmony first. Then, later on, we can start thinking about excellence in those areas in a balanced way. The way I look at it is every time I feel a very strong, excited urge towards one of the areas I mentioned, I see it as a request for balance and harmony, and focus on harmonizing rather than achieving. This is the most important aspect of this practice, and you'll find that there is a direct relation between your achievements in creating a balanced, harmonious lifestyle and your imperturbability exercise.